Right?
You'll just have to describe it to me.
We're live.
Hello. Yes, we're coming at you. Well, two of us are coming at you from my house. Woo! Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 175.
175.
And we haven't been drinking because I have to drive later.
Oh,
Because we got to do Cuban food, and I don't want to drink at all and drive.
I just had a jelly donut. I'm
Yeah, oh my
full.
God.
I think I'm gonna have to go home and eat nothing but salads for like a week. I've had so much meat. Meat.
Yes. Oh God.
wow.
So anyway, I'm having a little Zivia soda, a little caffeine. What are you having, Sharon?
I'm having one of your Bellevue. That's pretty beautiful life, I believe, right?
That sounds right.
A blackberry water. I had shit tons of coffee today.
Oh my God.
I had 2 cups of coffee before we went to get coffee and donuts, and then I had a 16-ounce
Cafe con leche.
strong
Which-
Cuban coffee.
Yeah, which
I
they
mean,
start.
Cuban coffee is pretty strong, right? Even
Oh,
if
yeah.
they
And I
add
got like extra
milk or cream or whatever. Like, I don't know what's added to their.
some milk and some sugar.
It's espresso with the steamed milk
Mm-hmm.
and more coffee.
I had a lot of coffee. I felt like my right eye was gonna pop out of my head.
So it's like a double cappuccino.
Yeah,
Yeah, kind of.
maybe
Yeah.
a triple. It was a lot.
Not me. I didn't have that much. That'd be crazy.
So it's like a punch in the quim, basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
She's been Quinn punched.
I drank most of it, and then I gave the rest to TJ while she had to drink a Red Bull before she could get to her
Can you
coffee.
believe this? A Red Bull before.
Wow.
Oh my Lord. Uh-oh. Where'd our thing go?
What thing? The hell are you talking about?
The name of the book that we're going to be reviewing. Wasn't that up there?
I don't know what it is. It's
Oh.
it's right
Is it?
there.
Oh,
on the
okay. Just Like Home
top.
by
Yeah.
Sarah Gailey. That's
Yes.
what we're going to be reviewing. And,
Just like home.
Oh my God. Fucking
Mhm.
hell.
and let me warn you right now, it's a newer book. And we feel it's a public service to provide spoilers. So if you
How
don't.
new is it?
Hmm?
Do we know when it came out?
Fairly
it's pretty
recently.
new, right?
I don't know. Like-
July. It came out last July.
Oh, it did. Okay, so that's pretty far then. That's almost a year, ish, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of months.
Anyway. So
Somehow I'm the only one that's drinking.
you're the only one. Sorry. I was going to drink, but like I said.
I understand. I don't want you to drink and drive either.
Uh-uh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we were watching war videos.
Oh, yeah.
TJ's still downstairs being enthralled by Hannibal's victories.
Yes.
Wow.
But before we get into all that, we didn't ask Colette what she was drinking.
What are you drinking?
What are you drinking,
Oh,
Colette?
yeah.
Something shitty, I
Yeah,
understand.
so I bought.
To go with the book, a shitty
really.
drink, for a shitty book.
It's very clear. It's supposed to be strawberry key lime margarita. And the proportions on the bottle said 2 to 3 parts mixer and 1 part tequila.
Oh.
So smelling it, it smelled like strawberry Kool-Aid. So I was like, oh, let me just do a 1-to-1 and see. So it is now 4 parts tequila and 1 part mixer. So if I had mixed it the way it said, it would be like fuchsia. But you see how clear it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
it's like you
Oh.
took a slice of pink grapefruit and just like squeezed
Yeah.
it in there.
It's just a little soupçon of shitty strawberry Kool-Aid-y stuff.
So if you fall out of your chair this time,
It's because I drank this whole glass of tequila.
Oh, damn.
nice.
What happened to the thing? I thought you were going to make sangria.
Oh, that was
Yeah,
the-
what did I end up making? Like I didn't have half the stuff in that delicious sounding recipe. So I had something. I don't know. That was like a couple of weeks ago.
it was last week after.
Oh,
So I get this message from Colette. Hi, Pixie.
Hey, Pix is here.
Pixie is here, so then you gotta click show.
That's
and
very
then it pops up there.
lovely.
Hi, Pixie. So Andy and I get this message from Colette through Discord. Hey, I just finished the book. Are we still on? And I'm like, what? I'm pretty sure that's next week. And Colette said, no, it's the last
Right.
Saturday of the month.
Right. Last Saturday was
It's last Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because today is April Fool's Day.
Yeah, April Fools. I thought this was going to be a good book, and I was supposed to do it. We love you too, Pix.
Yes, Pixie.
So I had suggested this book, and it's going to be spoilers galore.
So many spoilers.
All the
Because there's really no good way to discuss this book without spoilers.
True.
Yeah. So,
But I'm so glad that it was you and not me, because I feel like I get hammered all the time.
Yeah,
for picking out books.
I read another one of her books a couple years ago called The Echo Wife, which I really, really loved. I thought it was great.
And I realized that I have another one of hers. Let me pull up Scribd. I have another one of hers on my saved list.
Is it the Upright Women Wanted?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
It might be The Echo Wife, because I was like, oh, you guys really think you might like this book. It was really interesting. It dealt with cloning and all kinds of fun stuff.
So that was sort of a spec fic sci-fi kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when I picked up Just Like Home, the ebook on NetGalley when it came, when they had it out, because I was like, ooh, Sarah Gailey, yay! I really liked her shit. Mm-hmm. And then I suggested it to you guys because it was there's audio available. So and then I felt really bad.
Yep. Upright and Wanted is the one that I have on my list.
And I feel like Megan maybe told me no. I'm not blaming her for this one.
Okay.
I'm just saying I believe that she suggested Upright Women Wanted.
Well, and that one looks really short. Like that's clearly a short story or a novella or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would give another Sarah Gailey book a chance, because I really did. I loved The Echo Wife, and this book did have so much potential.
It did actually.
So let's talk about what this book is about.
Let's do it.
So it opens up with, and I don't remember anybody's names anymore except
Vera.
Daphne is the mom.
And Vera is the daughter.
Right.
Vera, and James is the fucking. We'll get to him.
And
then Francis is the father. Right. So apparently Daphne's dying. Vera's come back home to take care of her mom in her last days. And there's this border dude named James, and that's all we really know about him, is that there's some dude living in the back shed, what used to be a shed, and now mom rents it out.
Right.
And we know that Vera has been away from home for a long time.
And that she is estranged
right.
There's her mother.
Yep, there's clearly issues with her mom. We don't know anything else at that point. We get the feeling that dad has done something not kosher.
Mm-hmm.
And as we get going into it, and then it's kind of a back and forth. You have Vera in the current day working, trying to clean out her mom's house. Her mom's a piece of shit, treats her like crap. James is this skeevy, gross, slimy, smarmy fucker.
Ooh,
that's a lot of adjectives.
Well, he is, right?
He is.
And and then the other parts are Vera's childhood, where she's obviously just super close with their dad, Francis. They are just like two peas in a pod. He's gentle with her. He doesn't molest her, which,
Thank Christ.
is always a bonus, because, when a father and a daughter are close in a book and he seems to be a loving dad,
Right.
the first thing I think of is, oh my God, he's going to be fucking her. He's going to be touching her or doing something inappropriate, but he doesn't.
But not in this book.
He doesn't. What
No,
we do
he's
find
the
out pretty
one
quickly is
that he doesn't do something horrible to.
he's Francis turns out to be a serial killer, right? Which is interesting, and but he has a purpose to his killing. He's not just some rando bad guy. He believes that men are infested
of grease.
With grease, right? With this grease that makes them sexually aggressive and just bad guys. So what he does is he lets the grease out.
Yes. The old-fashioned way.
In a basement. Well, in a basement.
I mean, there's like two possible ways here that you could degrease a guy. One would be with a surgical glove, and then the other is to just cut them open.
He goes with the cut them open.
He goes with the cut them open method. And he just bleeds them, and I guess the grease,
it goes into that drain
body with their life force, I guess, and then they are officially degreased.
Yeah.
And ready for burial,
I guess. So one of the interesting things that it took me a while to kind of pick up on, well, at least I didn't pick up on it right away, is so in the current day, when Vera's going through the house and she's talking about this plexiglass on top of a table, and how the screws must have been, the hole must have been poked through the tablecloth because there's no bunching or fraying on the tablecloth. And then this makes no sense to me at all. This was one of the things that I was like, I'm sorry, what? The basement where Francis had been doing his degreasing,
his 409.
They had plexiglass screwed into the cement floor. How the fuck do you walk on a plexiglass floor?
Very carefully.
Right? I mean,
especially imagine all that blood's going to be a little slick, I would think.
And then there was shit going on because
okay. Yeah, so, I mean, you fully expect, right, as you learn that this little girl grew up in a house with a mother who clearly did not care for her.
Clearly.
And treated her poorly.
Yes.
And a father who loved her, but also was a serial killer.
Right.
Right. I was super surprised to find out that there was a hole between her bedroom and the room where he killed people.
Not just a hole, but a peephole, like in a door.
A viewing portal.
A viewing portal with a little, yeah. So one of the things, there's a lot of talk about the house, right?
Yeah.
And Francis built that house for Vera and Daphne and himself to live in and to fill with memories and love and all of that stuff.
Well,
right?
He filled it with memories.
He did. And there were something. Okay, let's talk about where James comes in. So James's father was an author who interviewed Francis and Vera, and apparently kind of emotionally manipulated Vera and got her to say a lot of shit that she would not have said about her dad and the things that they were doing, and then published this book, and I guess just kind of made her life hell, made all of their lives hell, right? Except for the mom, Daphne, really liked the dude. I can't remember, the Harold or I don't remember. I think it started with an H, but I can't remember.
The father?
The James's dad.
The prosecutor. Wasn't he the prosecutor?
No, he interviewed them. He was
Right.
an
Okay.
author.
Yeah. Been watching too many Alec Murdaugh videos.
So, so Daphne, when times got tough, Daphne would rent out space in the house for various looky-loos and researchers or what have you, and James Hammett, thank you.
Excellent.
So James marries the emotional, the visceral, whatever of the ghost, and he's a painter, so he takes parts of the house and marries it with art. And I don't remember, he has this like standard phraseology that he uses when he tries to describe what he's doing. So here's the first thing that really bothered me. Like, I think it comes chronologically first of the things that made me go, oh fuck, I may have made a really bad choice. Is Daphne tells Vera when she gets there, we have a boarder, you will be nice to him, you will treat him with respect, blah 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 blah. She finds out who he is, and he is super smarmy. He's like, trying to flirt with her and getting close and wanting. I mean, it's gross. Like, it made me feel dirty. And,
did you have to shower every time you read it?
Oh my God, it was terrible. So, so she can't stand this dude. She doesn't want to talk to him.
I mean, you say that,
but then she talks
to him constantly.
And then she goes places with
She's
him.
Constantly looking at him and his broad chest and his bloopity bloop. And I was like, what? Is
now
this
later,
really a romance between...
That's what I thought first.
Right? Did you not totally get those vibes?
Yeah. But I mean, initially, but she, when he's trying to hit on her, she's like, I don't date men. And I'm like, oh, okay. She's gonna be gay.
Man,
I'm like,
makes
okay.
Sense, sure.
She's like, I don't date any men. And I'm like, okay, so she's gonna be gay. And then she's, checking out his abs and his belly. But that we kind of get let in on why she's doing that later on. Did you not pick up on that?
Clearly not.
Okay, so
you're gonna need to clue me in, because I was like, I'm so fucking confused about this.
So what happens? Okay, I'll come back to that. So Vera's best friend, Brayden, when she was a kid, the boy down the street, Brayden, so she runs into Brayden's mom at the store at some point when she goes to buy the buckets, the tubs to pack up her mom's shit.
Oh, right.
So she's at like a hardware store, like a Home Depot or some such shit. No. It was a small hardware store, because that's where her dad used to go to get his
killing supplies.
his murder gear.
His murder gear.
Yes. So, as you do.
As you do.
So the Vera's trying to get through her, her shopping, and then everybody is looking at her because everybody knows who the hell she is. It's a small town, right? So Brayden's mom just comes and, I hope your mom dies, and I hope she dies slowly. I mean, I want her dead now, but I hope she's in a lot of pain and all this, and you're a piece of shit too, and blah blah blah. So she just walks out with her buckets, and then there's James. He just happens to be there. Just let me give you. You're gonna give me a ride home now too. Like, why doesn't she just tell him, "Fuck you, get your own way home"?
That's
asshole.
Right. Yeah.
But she doesn't.
No.
So everybody in town hates that family, right? The Crowders. That's what it is. The Crowder house, right? So
the house her father built.
The house her father built.
In case that wasn't clear.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Wrote it like 1,600 times.
A million times. The house is very special to Vera. So when she first gets there, she's like, I'm going to go in. I'm gonna clean this shit out because mom has already said, I don't need you. I have my own systems. I don't need you. I just need you to clear this shit out. And then you can fucking go on about your business. So it goes back and forth where she, initially she wants to be done. She wants to get her shit done. And then she wants to get back to wherever the fuck she is from now. I don't remember. She has this weird shit going on with James that made no sense and made me angry every single time there was any interaction with James. I was literally angry that I could not quit reading this book because I made the two of you read it, and I wasn't going to be the one to go, oh. Yes.
But you could do that.
I know I could, and I've done it in the past, but
not often.
No, I think I've only done it a couple of times, but I don't. If you're going to suffer through
I can't even remember a time that happened.
Oh no, I quit. One was a true crime thing with the dude on the train. I didn't finish that.
Oh, right. The man from the train.
The man from the train. I didn't finish that one. Yeah. And then there was one other that I was like, I can't do this.
There was one that we just totally decided that we weren't going to do at all, and we did a different book.
Yeah, we did that.
But there was another one that you guys read. Oh no, I think only one person finished. I don't remember which one of you it was, but it weren't me, and only one of us did. So.
Yeah, it's probably Man from the Train. Colin didn't like that one either.
Oh, maybe it was. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm the one that recommended that one too.
Yeah, but I didn't want to do that, and so as we're going through her childhood, like there's these scenes where they're fishing, right? And she kind of has this thing where she's really getting into the killing and the death aspects of this stuff. And then also while she ends up being able to see through this peephole, the guys that her dad has tied up in the basement. And clearly this has been going on for a while because she knows how many days it takes for for the people to die and all of that.
That was the part that messed me up the most, right? Like, because you get to a point where you're like, this poor girl has a mother who hates her and blames her for her father going to jail, and you don't really know why at that point.
Right.
And she has a father who she adored. The only person who ever really showed her any kind of attention or affection, and he's a serial killer. Mm-hmm. But then you find out that she's like watching him kill these men.
Yeah. And initially
like, daddy kills him and blah, blah, blah. And she lets herself in while that one guy is still alive.
Right. And that was Braden's dad. And that's how it all starts to fall apart. So one of the things when they're kids, Braden is always kind of teasing her because she's not allowed to go in the basement. There's a key, like a padlock or some such shit on the outside of the door. She is not allowed. And Braden's like, come on, you want to go down there. Come on. And
he's like her bestie, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So just so you, yeah.
Yeah. And, so and there's one point where when they're like 12 or something, 11 or 12, and Braden's like, I just need you to know right away, I don't like you,
yeah,
but we should go ahead and kiss. Kind of like a get their first kiss out of the way type of thing. And he does. They kiss, and she's like, ew, no, thank you. And as men do, teenage boys on up, he felt rejected, so he gets angry because that's apparently what men do. They can't accept that.
Yeah, because they are brought up to feel like they are entitled.
Right.
True.
Exactly.
To whichever woman they choose and whatever extent of affection they deem appropriate at that time.
Right.
Yeah.
So he knocks her down, and she falls off her bike and has like some smash up shit on her face and hurts some part of her body.
It's like her knees, right? Her knees are totally fucked up.
Okay. So she goes home and she tells her mom, and her mom's like, okay, well, let's go ahead. That's what boys do. It's just what it is. Don't tell your fucking dad. Because
That's like a critical moment in the book.
yes.
Right? When the mother, who has been very aloof and emotionally, and when you see her in present day, she's just so mean.
Yeah.
Right. And then you have this scene where she's like helping her daughter fix her skinned up knees and putting peroxide or alcohol or whatever. And she's like, okay, I need you to not tell your father that this ever happened, because she knows.
Yeah, she does.
And she said you're not going to, I forget how she phrased it, but you understand that dad's going to kind of flip out. If once he finds this out. And was it so later on, some other shit's going on, and Vera ends up telling her dad.
Right, like unintended. She's
they
like,
were fishing,
oh, yeah,
right?
like that time that he kissed me, and the dad's like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
And then at that point, she makes the determination. She's like, I would rather have a secret with my father than a secret with my mother.
Yeah.
Right?
It's all about
tells the father, but the thing that gets you is that you don't realize at that point, at least I hadn't realized at that point, that she knows that he's killing people down in the basement.
Right. Yeah, we didn't know
that by telling her father, oh yeah, this little kid kissed me and then pushed me down. Oh, well, he's probably going to die now.
Isn't that when he starts telling her about the grease?
That's
pivotal. That's a pivotal thing.
There's a moment, right, that where the focus is off of the friend and is moved on to the friend's father, because the friend's father said something like, yeah, that her father is lying to them. He doesn't really love them. He's not where he says he is, right? When he says that he goes off and does, I don't even remember what it was that he said that he went off and did.
He went off and had another family somewhere.
Well, that's what he said, right? Yeah. But the father was like, oh, I'm off doing whatever. I'm hunting or fishing or doing things.
He was sugaring. He was doing maple syrup.
Right, but he's like, yeah, there's no way that's true, because after whatever day of the year,
right,
that doesn't happen. And so he is lying to that family because he doesn't love them, and something is going on with that family.
Right.
And then once she tells her father, oh yeah, his dad says that you don't love us because you're lying to us about this. And then it's like, oh, so now you know that the mom knows.
Yeah.
And then later you learn that Vera knew anyway.
Right.
And then it's just like, is everybody in this book a soulless piece of dog shit?
Yes, it's
and
true.
The answer is yes.
Except for the imaginary friend that we'll get to later. But I want to go back to this conversation with Vera and her dad, because that's also the point where he explains to Vera about the grease, and that it's clear that Braden is now becoming a man. He's growing up, and we now know that he also has the grease in him.
He's getting greasy.
Right. And Vera knows that he has the grease in him. And that's where we get to Vera trying to save him.
Because it's her best friend.
And
she doesn't want him to have the grease.
Right. And she's
how old is she? She's 11.
Yeah, and because
how fucking dumb are 11-year-olds? Like, how
they're dumb.
Apparently,
yeah, they're stupid.
Like, okay,
yeah.
I remember. I mean, I get that it's been many years since I was 11, so I am far removed from my 11-year-old.
Many years.
You got to do that, okay? Yes, I agree. I do not argue that point. But I'm pretty sure I wasn't that dumb.
but she's also really sheltered, right? She only has that one friend.
True.
Nobody else really, she doesn't have a relationship with anybody else, as far as I remember.
Yeah.
Her mom barely speaks to her. Her dad, she's super, super sheltered.
And there's no internet, right? In this time period when there's no internet.
There's no internet.
My ass would be in the library reading.
Right?
Yeah.
But so what happens is
yes, unless you're a child now, when there are no libraries and all books are banned.
True.
So she decides that since Braden is just starting out, that the grease can't be very, very thick in him yet, right? It's just starting. Right. So she comes up with this plan to help him, and she really, she wants to degrease him. So she, I don't remember how it happens.
He was still mad at her,
right?
But she agreed to take him down to the basement.
Right,
it's just what he always wanted.
He always wanted to do that, and he was still mad at her. So when she goes and tells him, it's like he figures that this is like her trying to make amends, or we're just going to move on and have shit,
like pretend like other shit didn't happen.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So and was his dad already gone by this point? Yes, he was.
Yeah. So, right? But basically, as a result of Vera sharing with her father that Braden's dad thought that he was a liar and that he didn't love his family and that he probably had some other family on the side, Vera's dad decides to go ahead and degrease Braden's dad, who goes missing. And that's part of what ends up being an issue between Vera and Braden, right?
Yeah, because he's like, my dad's
and he's like, my dad's missing. I don't know where he is. And she's like, oh, well, I'll make him feel better. I'll go ahead and kiss him the way that he kissed me. And he's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
That's right. I just
told you my dad was missing. What the fuck? So they go for a long period of time not speaking because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so the other thing with that, so this is maybe more of a glimpse of what a shitty person I am than anything else. But when he came, if I was Vera and he came to me and said, my dad's gone, he's been gone for 3 days, the first thing I would have said is, well, maybe he's with his other family.
I might have said it too, actually.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah. Right? Because what the fuck?
Mm.
So
she's only 11.
She's right. She's a little kid. I don't remember. So meanwhile, so let's go back to the layout of the house, right? So initially, Vera's bedroom was upstairs, down the hall from her parents' bedroom, and downstairs was her father's office. So Vera liked to keep her window open or some such shit, and Daphne was pissed off because she didn't want to have anything having to do with an open window on that floor or something. So they moved Vera downstairs. Her dad's office and Vera's room swapped. And then so Francis had that peephole in his office so that he could watch, but he just didn't bother to, remove it.
Cork it up or something.
Right. And then so in one of the very first flashback sessions, it's Vera keeps hearing things under her bed.
Mm.
And she screams or whatever, and her dad comes in and she's like, there's something under the bed. And her he looks and looks and there's nothing there. And then he tells her that one of the reasons that she can't go in the basement is because there are animals downstairs. Raccoons and rats or whatever. And that's what she's hearing.
Mm.
But we find out later that what she had been hearing are the sounds of these men
being slowly bled,
being tortured, essentially. And one of the ways, so Vera also has this imaginary friend who talks with her and like reassures her when she's afraid. And, it's like she has these long conversations
But
with
I
this.
guess I wouldn't call her an imaginary friend.
Well, I mean, but initially, that's kind of how I thought it was set up.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's like she hears voices.
Right.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
How it's kind of portrayed is
You're
that
right. Yeah.
somebody comes and says, "It's okay, Vera. Everything's going to be okay." Kind of reassuring.
Your dad loves you. Yeah, everything's fine.
Yeah, this is sort of what I have referred to as the Babadook portion of the story,
Oh.
which is there's some shit living under her bed.
Yeah. So when we really find out that there's something literally under her bed when she comes back, so now she's an adult, she's back in her room, and there's like weird shit happening in her room, and she's not
like all of a sudden
anymore.
the furniture moves and
Right.
there's some weird. I mean, there's so much weird about what happens in the present day story. It was very off-putting for me.
Yes.
The way she and her mother who is dying, right? She's at death's door.
And all she does
with
will consume is lemonade, which the reason for that was really
weird.
Yeah.
But I mean, her mom is even like, "Don't call me mom."
Yeah.
We don't need to do that.
So shitty to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really hard for me to get through that.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, so this is just like battle of the pieces of shit.
Yeah.
I don't know that I mean, ew.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to bother to come home and deal with this stuff, but then your mom treats you like a piece of dog shit, and you're like, okay, well, whatever, mom, go ahead and die. I mean, I don't know how many times Vera talks about, well, and mom, who's going to be dead soon. Like that comes up a lot. And she's just like, whatever, I'm going to go ahead and clean out the buffet or whatever. Like that was basically the crux of the modern day story is like, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and move into the den now and clean out the Chesterfield or whatever pieces of furniture are called. It was really, I don't know. It was so gross.
Yeah.
And I don't know that the author really, I guess she thought that was just, ooh, well, that's suspicious. And ooh, how interesting. No, they're gross. They're gross. Like she's gross. They're like, oh, well, whatever, mom, you're going to be dead soon. I'm going to go ahead and dig through these files and
let's have dinner with James. What the
fuck, right?
The entire present day situation was awful.
Yeah.
It was awful. Yeah. Every bit of it. There was nothing that was
redeeming.
Interesting, believable, interesting,
redeeming.
There was
like
nothing.
I think I thought, right? So you get to the point where you're like, oh, these present day people are awful.
Mm-hmm.
They are vile human beings.
Right.
And I don't give a shit about them.
At all.
And then you're having these periodic flashbacks and you're thinking, okay, well, at some point we're going to see the point where Vera is a good person, a young soul. Something is going to happen or touch her or alter her life in some way. And we're going to see, oh, well, that's how she got to be how she is. But, I mean, once you find out that she's been watching her father kill people, it's like, okay, no, she's just a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, there could have been so much about nature, nurture.
Right.
Like,
yes.
Is she hard-coded to be a sociopath? Because clearly not only is her father a sociopath, but her mother is a sociopath / horrible piece of shit. Right. And it's super weird that the serial killer is like the good person.
He
in
was
this
the best
story.
person in the story.
It's
yes.
scary, right? I mean, think about what that means.
Yes.
The serial killer is
Yeah.
the better person in this story.
So okay, so let's talk about the. So at it was like 90% through the book, I read something and then I couldn't even fucking believe it. I could not believe what I was being told.
Can I just say one thing?
Huh.
At this particular moment, Sherry's going to reveal all at this moment, and it's just
No, I'm not.
Oh no,
I'm not.
All
I'm
right.
not yet.
Oh, okay, never mind. I'll wait.
Yeah.
Go
So I get to this point and I'm so upset that because it's just the most ridiculous shit in the world.
Mm.
I go find TJ because I have to say something.
Of course you do.
Right? So I give her the very brief synopsis and I'm like, and she's like, what? Yes. So I go immediately to Discord because I know that Colette has finished reading it.
Right.
And I just post a gif of what the fuck.
That's exactly what she did.
And Colette posts back, welcome to the party, pal. and then Andy, a few days later, because she had waited.
I purposely waited until it was closer to recording to finish. Like I had a little over an hour left.
Yeah.
Oh, so much happens in that hour, though.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, that was the thing, right? When you posted, what were you, like 80% or something?
80 or 90.
And I was like, I'm not even really sure what the catalyst of that was because there's so much more fucked up stuff that happens that you haven't even gotten to.
Yeah. So back to modern day, all this weird shit is happening while Vera is trying to sleep at night. And so she decides, I'm going to go get a new bed. Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah, you got a bum bed. That's what it is. That's why it moves around at night.
Right. So, so she decides she's going to go to get a new bed. And so who does she call? Who does she go and get?
Yes.
James, because, she hates him and doesn't want to have anything to do with him. So she wrangles him to go get this new bed. Oh, I do want to go back. Okay. Because I want to go back to the stomach thing. Okay?
Yeah, because I still obviously missed something critical there.
Okay, so what happens is, Frances tells Vera about the grease,
right,
and she gets it in her head that she's going to save Braden.
Right,
she's going to save him. So she lures him down in the basement with, we're gonna check it all out. Come on down. She lures him down into the basement, and then she stabs him in the stomach to drain the grease. See what I'm saying? You get that now? So there's the stomach, her interest in James's stomach. She's going to drain the grease.
It's not sexual or
any sort of
appreciation from an aesthetic perspective. You think it's because she's looking at his stomach like, oh, he's full of grease.
Yeah, it would, because I do. I believe that at that point in her mind, she's thinking about draining his ass or what it would be like to drain him or something.
A full-grown, I don't know, 20-something, 30-something-year-old woman. At this point, she's like, yeah, the grease is totally legit as a theory.
I don't know if she believes that, but I got the feeling that she was doing some kind of a not a flashback, but I could maybe she
drain him.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there was she was making some correlation because clearly she's not interested in him sexually. I mean, I didn't feel like that by the time we got to the end of the book. I feel like, it was very clear that she had never felt like that.
No.
So there had to be some reason that the author had that much of a focus on his belly.
Okay.
On his midsection area. So she gets Braden down in the basement. She stabs him. And
as
then,
you do with your best friends,
right? Exactly. And then she freaks out because she's a little kid, right? So she doesn't.
She's 11. Like there is a possibility that she's already menstruating at this point. Like how dumb does she need to be to think, you know what? I'm just going to jab my best friend in the gut with a knife because he's got the bad grease.
But I feel like I feel like if I remember correctly, she was surprised by how deep the wound went, how how easy it was to stab him like that, because then she immediately runs off to try to get help, right? So but then as she's leaving, was it as she's leaving, she turns back and she sees the shadowy figure over James.
The Babadook.
The Babadook.
The Babadook. Oh, TJ's cleaning.
I know. I was watching. I'm like, damn, do you know that thing's on rollers? You can move that shit around, dude.
So she goes off to try to find help, and we see the shadowy figure over, right? So we have these. She had been kind of seeing these
these little glimpses throughout the story of her, like out of her peripheral. She knows something's there, but she'll look and it's not there, kind of thing.
And we only know about that up until this point as happening in the current day. Mm-hmm. So it's really up in the air. Like I felt like we were kind of being led to believe that it was her, like the spirit of her dad, right? That Francis, because she was getting those auditory things again, and the only person that we know of that had been nice to her throughout, both areas that we've been a witness to has been her father. So I thought that the shadowy figure, voices in her head, was the spirit of her dad inhabiting the house or whatever.
Which the author, I think, purposely wanted to lead you down that rabbit trail.
Right. So, and then there's also talk about how there wasn't as much blood as what she had expected when they came back. So the big turning point that really turns Vera and her mom Daphne against each other is she goes and gets her dad. Her dad comes down. He's like, "Oh shit, what have you done?" And she's like, "I was trying to help him. I just wanted to make Braden better," and so then so her dad scoops him up and they're out and they go out to the garage, and then there's this big bellowing, "What are you doing out here?" And it's the mom. And the mom and the dad essentially are kind of going back and forth. The mom says, take that boy someplace and dump his ass, because she's known all along.
Yep.
And has been enabling her husband's psychosis by making sure that he is taking these killing these guys as a
the
way
people
to
that
cleanse
she
himself.
wants him to kill.
Right. And she's got him convinced that by him doing this, he's saving himself.
Right.
He's keeping the grease away from himself. So she wants him to ditch the body and just go on business as usual.
Right.
And he's like, he's just a boy. I can't do that. Mm-hmm. And Daphne takes this as him choosing his daughter over her because he's gonna take the blame
and does
something that she did and break up the family, all to protect Vera. And Daphne says, and
I mean, she's not wrong.
No, she isn't. She's not. And again, so now we're kind of dealing with the serial killer is the best person, the most the kindest,
So he basically comes forward and says, "Yep, I guess," he says, I killed this kid.
Well, the kid makes it, right? So
yeah,
he lives, but because Francis took him to the hospital and essentially turned himself in, and then we get Hammett doing the tell-all book and all of that. So that's all. That's all of the young. All of the flashback parts I thought were really great, and there's just so much potential there. So once we get all of that out of the way, and we go back to present day, and now Vera has decided that she doesn't want to leave. She's, this is where she belongs.
Because she had an affinity for the Crowder house because her dad made it.
Right.
That's part of it.
Oh my God, we heard that so much.
She has been told by James that she's not getting the Crowder house.
Right.
The Crowder house is going to be left to him.
Right. Daphne already wrote it in her will, leaving it to James.
Right.
And James says,
probably just to spite Vera.
Probably. So James, and then there's also these little periods of time where Daphne treats Vera nicely and caringly, and tries to tell her, you just need to go, you need to run, you need to get out. Because now James has made it clear that he's the one who's getting the house, and he says some bullshit like, oh no, you'll stay. You can manage the house. You can go on tour with me and manage this. Like, who the fuck are you? And why the hell would you say these things? And she's just like, whatever, dude. And and so she has, it's like Daphne has, it's made out to be like she has these caring, lucid moments, but there's weird stuff going on with her. Like she doesn't smell right.
Yeah, her physiology is not right.
It's changing, right? So,
right, and I mean, I guess part of that you can explain away because she is riddled with cancer.
Right. She's super sick, super duper sick. And then there's also all of that stuff where, Vera at different points will be like, I never even asked what she has, what's wrong with her. I never asked what her system is. Why doesn't she need help going to the bathroom? Why isn't she eating? Why does she only fucking drink lemonade? And she says, because it's the only thing I can taste anymore. It's the only thing I can taste. And so during these moments, Daphne's telling Vera to get the fuck out, go to safety, whatever. James is becoming more and more aggressive and seems to be unbalanced.
Right.
Something fucks up his paintings, and he becomes super violent and tries to. Eventually, he just gets to the point where he's like, "You got to go." Oh, but Vera knows who the imaginary friend is by that point.
The Babadook, yeah.
The Babadook. Okay, go ahead. Somebody else talk about the Babadook.
Well, I mean, there's a point where she realizes that the art that William is making is also using pieces of the house that he is removing, like chopping out of the house.
He's like big claw marks almost of deep gashes in the plaster. And he took the letters that Vera didn't know her dad had been writing from prison, because Daphne, the asshole, hid them all from her. And so James stole those and was putting those in. And she kept finding pieces of paper, little scraps of paper from her dad's journal.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why I kept thinking that the shadowy figure was her dad, trying to give her these clues about how much he loved her, right? But it wasn't.
No.
You'll never guess who it was.
No, ultimately, the mysterious Babadook is the house.
It's the house. And it's like she goes, now I know who you are. You're the house. And I just stopped.
But that was not the moment where you sent the message on Discord, right?
It was. That was the moment. That was the moment that I was like,
what the fuck?
What the fuck? It's the house. The Babadook, the spirit, has been protecting her and sucking up the blood. The house tried to save Brayden. it was, I don't understand.
Yeah,
It was
so
just too much. It was, no.
I've decided at some point, and I don't even remember what the catalyst of this was. I mean, because this book is called Just Like Home. And I was like, I would have preferred if this was just called The Fucked Uppingtons. Because these are the most fucked up people ever. Like, the mom is super fucked up and she's a demon, and the dad is super fucked up and he's a serial killer, and the daughter is super fucked up because she's like, yeah, the only person who ever loved me was my serial killer dad, and I used to watch him kill people in the basement. It was awesome.
Yeah,
there were parts where when in her childhood where I mean, it was really clear that she was getting off on the death and
Yes,
pain and all of that, and I just kept waiting to see, well, does she turn into a serial killer? Because it really felt like
that's where it was
the
going.
author had laid that foundation out,
Yeah.
but then nothing ever came of that.
well, but that's not fully true, right? Because she does kill somebody.
She winds up taking James out.
Well, she does, but the house helped a bit, and house.
Okay, if we believe that the whole Babadook thing is even real,
I don't.
Right?
I hadn't even thought about that. I don't know.
It's entirely plausible that Vera is just
imagining it,
just cray-cray,
a psychopath, or she is deranged from watching as a child her father kill a bunch of dudes in the basement of her beloved house, that she now is like, I love you, house. I mean, there's something really, really wrong with Vera.
Oh, well, that's
that would also have been a suitable. So it could be The Fucked Uppingtons, and then in parentheses, there's something wrong with Vera.
That might have been a better title.
That might have been.
There's something wrong with Vera.
But I mean, it's not even just that the house was the thing. She sees the house, and then the house is like, oh no, I'm sorry, you shouldn't be seeing me. And then so the house dives into her mother's mouth, and
well, I mean, so we probably need to explain that the house is the Babadook that lives inside her mother's skin, because her mother's been dead for a while.
Mother's been dead for a while,
like
now.
A week or two, something ridiculous.
Who knows?
And then the Babadook says, oh, I drank the lemonade because I thought it would help with the smell of the decay.
Sure.
Because then there is like, all I can smell when I'm by her is lemons and earth.
Lemons and earth.
And like, so James is now, he's trying to throw Vera out of the house at this point. Instead of just trying to kill her or whatever, he's just going to throw her out of the house. And Vera's like, oh my God, I can't leave this house. Once I leave the house, he's going to lock the door and I'll never get back in. I'm like, bitch, there's windows.
Yeah, true.
I mean, it's not like you can't get back in.
Right, yeah.
Fuck.
But I mean,
I like Colin's take on it, though. It never occurred to me
you're
that
right.
the author was trying, in a roundabout way, to show that Vera's psyche may have collapsed, and she's got visions of what, like the Babadook, and that wasn't really what was happening, but that's how her mind was processing it because it fractured.
Yeah, it doesn't make me like the book.
No, it doesn't.
No,
yeah,
I think
if it had been, if it had started in the childhood and went more chronological.
I have to agree with that. I had that thought as well.
Yeah.
But I wish this has been told chronologically.
Yeah. And then maybe not even have anything to do with adulthood, because I think there was enough there.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a really interesting story, the whole family dynamic was very interesting.
Yeah, it showed promise in the beginning. It really did. I mean, there were some parts in the beginning where I was like, okay, can we just move the story along? Yeah. It's a little bit slow. Can we keep moving?
But all of the parts where she was a kid were, I thought, really, really good.
Yeah.
I mean, very interesting. All of the parts where she was an adult,
yes.
was angry the
Yeah.
whole time. And I don't know about you guys, but one of the things that also really started to annoy me was so many similes and
There were a lot of similes.
holy shit, like I started highlighting them because after I was probably about 80, 75, maybe between 70 and 75%. I moved to the ebook because the narrator was really getting on my nerves. I think she did a fine job with what she had.
Did you recognize her from a book that we had listened to before?
I know that I've had her. What was it?
What was it? It was the one about shit. I mean, because I specifically pulled up, I have listened to this list. It was the one about heroines. It was the one about the girls' school.
Oh, the daughter of the whatever.
Bad girls and heroines or something like that.
Plain bad heroines.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
The one about.
Yeah. Okay.
But after a while, I just didn't want to listen to it anymore.
That may not be her fault.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like Vera's voice, it was more shaky and like emotion filled, and I just got tired of it. So I can read faster than I can listen.
That makes sense.
And I wanted to be done. So, but I just started highlighting, and there were some times when there were like 2 or 3 in a paragraph. I'm like, honey, come on, it's too much.
Yep, like a flapjack in a windstorm. That was like, what?
Yeah,
there were lots and lots of similes.
Lots. Too many. So I think overall, I think I gave it 2 stars because it did have potential.
It did,
and I did enjoy the childhood story, but everything else I thought was a massive piece of shit and a huge waste of time, and I felt bad. I felt bad knowing that I had subjected the 2 of you to it. But if you do want to give another one a shot, I do still recommend The Echo Wife. It was a lot of fun.
I'm good.
All right, then.
But yeah.
No, I'm still kind of interested in the one that I had saved that's also by her.
Yeah.
You know what annoyed the fuck out of me after a while?
What?
Was when the narrator would go, Vera baby.
Vera baby.
Oh my God. And she just drew it out.
Why would the house do that?
I don't know.
Why would the house call her Vera baby?
I mean, again, I'm pretty sure that Vera is just insane.
Yeah.
I don't think that the house wears a top hat and lives under her bed and talks to her. I don't think any of that's true.
So do you think then that Vera was manipulating the furniture and things in her sleep and she just didn't remember?
I mean, potentially, or what she thought she saw in her lucid moments was not even really what she thought.
But even James, there was one point where James made a comment about the furniture in her room when her bed was propped up on that drawer.
Yeah, it was like in an open drawer.
Yeah, I couldn't really.
That's normal when you go to bed against the wall and then you wake up and your bed is in the middle of the room and one of the legs is in an open drawer from the bureau.
And that was the drawer that she had kept her dad's letters in, which again, and this is something that I see in a lot of books. There's some really crucial information that they have just received, and instead of actually reading it or doing something with it, they put it away and they'll do it later.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
That's bullshit.
Because you damn well know curiosity. You see something like that and you loved your dad.
My dad, and he wrote me letters from prison,
and
my
your ass
mom,
down
and I didn't know anything about it, and now he's dead. But here, I'm going to hand you these letters that you didn't know anything about. You know what? I'll read them later.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
That's
normal.
fine. I'll just put them in this drawer where nobody will know where they are.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah. It's
Totally normal. I'll get to them later.
Yeah. So we're a bit over time.
Oh, well, that was to be expected.
So let's go around. Colette, do you recommend or no?
I'm going to say no.
No.
And I'm going to go with fuck no.
Oh. Save your money.
Again.
Yeah, I feel like this could have gone down a really interesting path.
Yes.
Right?
Agreed.
Is she genetically predisposed to be a sociopath? Is she genetically predisposed to be a homicidal killer?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the notion that she would be told at 11 that, yeah, bad men are filled with grease and they need to be, bisected to be fixed. And that, however many years later, she'd be like, well, I mean, clearly that's true.
And the whole thing where she would go down in the basement, and so she makes a copy of her dad's key, which again, bullshit. And then goes down in the basement and is talking to these dudes. Didn't she talk to more than one? Like,
trapped.
Yeah, like she talked to.
Pieces of wood.
Did she talk to Braden's dad and the one before him, or one or the other? I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
But so she takes the tape off, and the guy's like, just let me go. And she said, well, you've been down here for like 17 days, so you're going to die tomorrow. It'll be over soon. Don't make any more noise. You're going to get me in trouble.
Yeah, please don't get me in trouble, mister, by raising your voice and calling attention to the fact that I'm not supposed to be down here.
Yeah, so she jams the gag back in his mouth. And
yeah, she's a terrible piece of shit, just like every other person in her family. And that whole genetic line just needs to be snuffed out.
Ooh, true.
Yeah, and we don't really. So how does it end? It's just kind of like she goes back into the house with.
She kills James.
And the house.
We learn that the mother has been dead for quite some time, but has been inhabited by the Babadook of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and her skin is all falling off,
living in her decaying skin.
How do they explain?
I'm kind of sad that they didn't put on a show.
How do they explain? Like, so at one point, her mom's skin just starts falling off and goes away. How are they going to explain? Everybody knows that her mom's dying. Was she just? She went out for a pack of cigarettes and didn't come back. I mean,
we just put her in the backyard. No big deal.
Yeah, I don't.
Well,
and then James is gone. What is that gonna? How are they gonna explain all of that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Just don't.
So she's in the house, and the dude who's due to inherit it, she kills.
Yeah.
And her mother has been dead for a long time. And then the house comes out and gives her a big old hug or whatever the hell is going on with that we're supposed to believe, with our suspension of disbelief, which I'm pretty sure the house is not the Babadook and has not been living inside her dead mother's skin, and she's just a crazy ass bitch who is also a psychopath and has no bones killing other people because she watched her father do that through her entire, and it's funny because at some point early in the book, we're supposed to feel sorry for Vera because, it's hard for me to hold a job because people look up my last name and they find out that my father is a serial killer, and then I am just mysteriously dismissed from my jobs. So it's like, no, you're just crazy. You're a crazy person who has conversations with your house, and you kill people, and there's something wrong with you, honey. And I feel like
Vera Baby.
that could also be a title of this book. There's
Vera Baby.
something wrong with Vera Baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Update. I have had all of this tequila.
Oh my God. Woo! Oh, that's awesome.
That's the best part of this book.
Exactly right. That's awesome.
So this was our April Fool's Day show, since Andy and I completely missed the fact that it was supposed to be last week.
Right. And it was March 32nd.
This is March 32nd. So our next show, we're going to do The Devil in White City.
I thought it was Waco next. There's Devil in White City?
No, I think Waco is.
We bumped that one because we had
okay. Yeah.
Devil in White City. So we're going to do Devil in White City the last Saturday in, what month is it? In April. So yeah, we're going to be there. All three of us.
Promise.
Okay. So yeah.
Cool.
All right. Then.
All right.
I did not think that we were going to have an hour's worth of stuff to talk about, and we had more than an hour's worth of stuff to talk about because we're all so unhappy.
Really, it really was. I mean, yeah,
it's a shame.
And there was so much bad stuff to talk about that, yeah. Sometimes a good book, it's like, oh yay, it was really good. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
But this one, it was so bad. But only parts of it, and it had potential.
It did. It really did have potential. I think that's what was extra disappointing about it.
Super disappointing.
Yeah.
It wasn't just one huge, massive piece of shit. It was only partially a massive piece of shit, but those massively pieces of shit parts were so shitty.
Yeah.
Did you guys feel... I mean, so let me reword this. So how did you feel about the fact that the serial killer seems to be the best person in it? And
sad.
Right?
Pretty much.
Sad, disappointed.
Yeah.
I think that would be the word that I would use to describe the entire experience of reading Just Like Home.
I mean, there could have been some really deep moments about the fact that the person that she idolized and felt the closest to was a person who was a serial killer.
Yeah.
That really didn't happen.
No. I mean, imagine how much that would impact you as a kid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That she could have dove in that direction.
Yeah.
Right. And then at that point, she could have been like, how many of the things that my father told me as a child ended up being completely wrong?
Yeah.
And how did I go down a path listening to him that was completely deviant from, what was reality?
Right.
But that never really happened.
No.
So just the salaciously eyeing the guts of people like, that's some good grease. I can't wait to slice into that.
So I definitely, and like Colepa, I think before we started recording, you had mentioned how split the reviews are on this, because I did the same thing. I wrote my review and then I went to look on Goodreads to see where, because a lot of times I'm
in the minority.
I'm definitely in the minority for various reasons, right? But this one, it was like there were people who were giving it 1 and 2 stars, like I did, and people who were giving it 5 stars.
Yeah,
and it was
like,
so creepy.
Yeah, it just seemed like 2 completely disparate groups. People who loved it, and people who, like me, were like, "What?
Yeah,
what is this?"
Yeah. So, make your own choice. If you've watched this, you know where we stand. You already know the secret. So maybe, maybe your disappointment won't be as strong as ours was because we expected something totally different.
True.
So maybe if you go into it knowing that you're not getting what you might want to get, maybe that would make a difference for you.
Yeah, it might.
I still recommend The Echo Wife. I will absolutely read Upright Women Wanted. But this one was just a big, huge miss for me.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sarah Gailey.
Sorry, girl.
I really loved The Echo Wife. So, hey, for that. Not every book can be, a 5-star. Right, exactly. So it happens.
And we're still waiting for that Western. Aren't we?
I was going to say, Colette's books are all 5-star. There's no.
Where's the Western, damn it?
Anyway, she's had a full tumbler of she's had a pint glass of tequila.
Oh my
so,
lordy!
We're not gonna hold you accountable.
I'm proud of her though. That was a lot of tequila.
That's a lot of. Look how red her face is.
Woo!
I mean, come on.
It really was. I would say, because when I sat down with this, it was full. So I'm gonna say I had this much tequila.
But you're holding it together
You
really
are
well.
doing great. I imagine it's probably dinner and then nap time.
But just imagine if I drank that much tequila, I'd be on the floor.
I'd be holding you up.
I'd be like,
It may be nap time
I
before
would.
dinner.
Yeah, I would know.
I don't know.
Well, thanks everybody.
Yeah.
Go
Thanks.
ahead, do your wrap up.
Oh boy. Yeah. Thanks for being here, and we will see you the last Saturday of this month. So you're getting a twofer,
Right?
Woo, twofer.
Yeah, make them sound like it's, a bonus.
It is. We are here. That's the bonus. Come on now.
Sarah Gailey's gonna post something like,
These people
those
are whack.
crazy bitches. They can't even hold a coherent conversation. And
I don't know. I thought we were pretty coherent.
yeah, we were watching.
At this point, everybody should know that.
That's
Well,
true.
that is a good point.
Andy had to put on this podcast on a YouTube show earlier, and she's like, "Oh my God, these people, they're so disjointed in their style." And I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah,
just like us."
But it's true.
It
But
is.
it's kind of like sitting in your living room with your friends and just having it out.
Just chatting,
Just chatting it up.
just chatting.
Legit.
All right then.
All right. See y'all next time.
All right. Bye. Yes.